What is going on, beautiful people? I'm here to expound a little bit as requested regarding mommy issues and relationships. This is in regards to a post that I made describing men who seek women as their source of support and being vulnerable with them as really reflecting a boy and a child seeking his mother to mother him. I continued to communicate there that women aren't seeking little man boys. This is why we have children. Women are seeking a man that they can depend on. And often the man that they can depend on might be a little bit abrasive, very abrasive. Now, going back to this, I'm going to take it back to our early childhood development. Often as children, many people have experienced forms of attachment trauma, right? It can be simple little situation where you're standing there and you're trying to get the attention of your mother. Your mother doesn't hear you and you're crying. She's busy talking on the phone. And you're sitting there trying to get her attention. Now, something like this can happen once, and a small child might feel as if he hasn't gotten what he's needed, what he needs. His needs have not been met. He wants to be heard. He wants to be seen by his mother, and she wasn't there for him. But this can lead to another situation, right? You can take that association. In another situation, a similar thing can happen again. It can be totally different, but enough of a similarity that the same child will connect story number one with story number two. Maybe it's story number two, he's at the beach and his mom says hello to her friends. He just wants to show his mom this cool little sandcastle that he's made. She doesn't respond. She's too busy speaking to her friend. Now, he's under the assumption, for the same reason that his mother does not respond to him in accordance to the situation before. Now, obviously his mother does love him, but in effect, this child's experience of what he's seeing or what he's experiencing could be something along the lines of, I'm not enough to receive attention, I'm not good enough to receive attention. Now, in the beginning, as a young boy, he's not going to think about it that way. But as he grows older, or she grows older, she will begin to connect that experience, the emotional signature of what he or she has experienced, with their upcoming stories. That eventually turns into a multitude of different stories, each pointing to a similar emotional signature, which reminds the individual of his experience of not being enough. I'm just using that as an example, okay? Now, as adults, right, as men, when we are in a relationship, when we're seeking partners, when we're seeking somebody to hear us, the reason why I recommend not to find a woman and use women as your source of stability and a foundation that you can speak your emotional self to, something that might be a little bit triggery, is because we often as individuals are not aware, right, when we're dealing with trauma, as to what its trigger was. Often that trauma, that emotional signature, so deeply embedded within our psyche and within our brains that we're not always going to be aware when it's happening. Right? That this is natural. This is something that often happens with traumas, is that it can often pull us into a situation, and as a result, sometimes we're not really aware of what it is that's happening. So, this is why I recommend to you, I believe it was Gedalia that asked this question. He asked me to expand a little bit more on this mommy complex, and I am doing it right now, is that we create a male circle, a male relationship that can serve as that basis of support. In fact, it's often the hardest thing to do because we've become so accustomed, right, as children, to having our mommy there for us. But I highly doubt that your partner wants you to be a child. Your partner wants somebody stable, wants somebody that she can rely on, somebody that she can depend on. Emotionally also. And this is why I recommend that men use men as their foundations of support. Often you can go into something not even realizing that you're seeking mommy to help you. And you're seeking mommy to help you, it's really just this woman that you met that you actually are quite attracted to. But the last thing that she wants is another boy. Long term, what does this result in? This results in a loss of polarity and a loss of attraction. So in the beginning, it might be super hot, super awesome. You might be having a lot of fun. And then your heart starts to get into it and you're feeling really kind of connected and she's really nice and you start opening up. You don't know where your boundaries are regarding opening up. What is it that I should be saying? What is it that I shouldn't be saying? Okay, and that's why it's important to do the inner work and find out for yourself and to have a strong sense of males around you that can hear there and be there and hear you for it. Now, many of us have come to understand that it's a little bit hard for us guys to do that. I know it's really hard for me. It was very hard. In the beginning, I found myself, by the way, we have a men's group that hopefully would be getting started again soon. But when I started joining my men's group, I found that I would try to come in and just be that big, cool guy and try to give the men around me my best side. There's a lot of ego, a lot of me wanting them to perceive me however I thought I needed them to perceive me, whatever was going on in my mind. Over time, what I did notice is that as I was able to release, as I was able to be totally honest with them, that doubled the strength. That I ended up becoming so much more confident, so much more strong, because we were recreating, in a sense. 1 second. That we are recreating, in a sense, the relationship between you and your father. Now, the reality is that our past generations have come from war. There have been many men out there that really would push their emotions down and not really share it with anyone else. And that's not necessarily always the best thing, right? So what we're doing is something a little bit differently, right? We're doing something called reparenting. We are remodeling that relationship between you and your father. We remodel the relationship between you and your father. That, in a sense, opens up very deep levels of understanding, love, strength, compassion also. Try it for yourself. So that is reparenting in a nutshell. Reparenting that we do in our men's group. If you're checking this out right now, you can come ask me about it. We are doing it once every 2 weeks. And you are more than welcome to join if you are a man. A real man. Yeah. Anyways, I hope that was explanatory for you and that you received from it, that you understand. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I will answer them. I will give my attention towards them. I'm going to say this again. People on my page, on my personal page, that have nothing positive to share, okay, and are just yammering about absolutely nothing, you can leave. My personal energy is sacred. I invest a lot into it. And I share it with those that also respect it. So, now that you've watched this video, hope you guys have a beautiful day. I'm going to a meditation circle over here in Jaffa. If you are from Jaffa, you should join it. It is at 7 o'clock right now. It's about 30 minutes before sunset on the hill where the sculpture is. See you there. If you want to come to the men's group, reach out about that too. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel right the fuck now. We're making a dent in the goddamn universe. Okay, speaking truth. And if you're seeing this on Facebook, like it, subscribe, like it, share it. This is such vital information for us men to create confidence, success, happiness, consistency, motivation, right? And it's funny, it comes from a space of being honest with ourselves with other men surrounding us. Anyways, have a beautiful day. I'm heading out. Mwah. Big love, people, big love.